Hi everyone, welcome to this afternoon's webinar where we're going to paint this lovely bumblebee. You'll have seen it on the link that you've clicked on. So we're doing something like that anyway. When you paint in a very loose watercolour style, you know, you can't get things exactly the same. But I got my inspiration from, I fancied painting a bumblebee, so I went on to the Pixabay, the free photograph site for artists or anyone where you can download photographs completely free of charge and free of copyright. And I saw this picture of this bumblebee and I just loved it. I thought it was so chunky and, you know, just got a little bit of character, hadn't it? So I thought, oh, that's a good one. So I downloaded the photograph and then you can just see a very faint, it's flying, so the wings are not with them fluttering around, you only see a ghosty effect of the wings. So I downloaded this one then, which is another lovely photograph, and so I could see what the wings were like, but obviously this bumblebee's not flying. So anyway, I improvised and did the painting that I did. So we need a drawing, don't we? And I'm going to paint, and hopefully most of you are painting along too. So I thought I'd simplify the drawing, and because you won't have any reference material. So this to me, and do it really, really pale actually. Please do it really pale. I've done mine darker so you can see it. It's like a peanut, isn't it? It reminds me of a peanut, but it's a bit thicker at one end at an angle. So if you start off with like a tube shape and then just make a little indentation kind of underneath the chin area, shall we say, and then out for the tummy area, and then getting narrow towards the back. So we need to be quite quick because we've only got around half an hour, so we've got quite a lot to do. So once you've done that, if you can paint the eye in, the eye fascinates me. If it is an eye, I presume it is. It's quite a big thing that's catching the light. So on the one I painted, I did it like that. Okay, so it's just quite a chunky sausage, shall we say, with a bit of white left. So if you could do that as well on there, right at the front of the shape that you're drawing, a couple of antennae coming off, and there's another antennae more or less directly under the eye. So I'll do it a bit stronger so you can see. And then we need to draw in some stripes. So there's one there. I'll do them quite deep. I've got mine drawn out ready, but I'll do them deep so you can see. There's roughly one there. But as
Jane, I've just got a question from Caroline. Hold on a second, Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
You might need to unmute, Caroline.
Okay.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi. How about when you get the walnut shape? How do you make it like so curved round and stuff? Because I can't seem to make mine curved round a lot.
Well, hold the end of your pencil, and then your wrist's a lot freer for making circles. And if you hold the end of your pencil and just catch the top of the paper and move your wrist like this. That's the best way, rather than be stiff. And then if you're stiff, you tend to not be to do circular movements so easily. So try that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline.
Okay, so once you've got one stripe in, then it's time to put a wing in, which is something like that. And I'm not drawing the end of the wings, I'm letting them hopefully flow away to nothing. So we get one wing in there, and then coming out the back of that there's the outline of another wing. Okay, just the top of the other wing. And then you can see where the next stripe goes, like that. And at the very back, there's a bit of yellow there as well. So far we've got 3 stripes, one above the eye area, one just below the wing, and one on the very end at the tail. And where that mid stripe is, we've got quite a substantial leg coming out, something like that. And then one coming, you can see from the other side, something like that. And where those wings start, you've got another antennae, something like that. I mean, we're not painting like a photograph, you know, as long as it looks like a bee, that's all that matters. If an antennae is in a bit of a different place, nobody will know. So I'll just wait while you catch up and complete your drawing. But as I say, keep it quite pale so that you paint, it won't show through your paint once you get the paint, especially where the wing area is there. So where I've drawn that wing there, look, you can still see the body. So I'm going to rub that out so that when I paint my wings, I can't see that line then. So I've removed that. So I'll just let you carry on looking at that for a little bit longer. And his face is quite squashed, isn't it? It's quite a flat face. You know, when you look at the photograph, it just kind of got a bit of a humpback, then he comes down, and then there's the eye, and it's kind of like that, all covered in tiny, tiny hairs. So when you do any drawing in art, you know, simplify it unless you're trying to do realistic art or botanical art. You know, it's always best to simplify things. So is anyone not ready to move on? So can you all see that eye and that little bit of, I've drawn the white in, the area that we're leaving white. 3 stripes, 2 wings, 2 big legs, and then a few antennae coming off. So I'm going to remove that now because I've got mine drawn out a little bit paler.
If you're desperate for a little bit of time, if you want to raise your hand, I won't invite you in to ask a question, but if you want a bit more time, raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll just go on.
Everyone okay?
We've got one person who's just raised their hand. So
okay, well, hang on a minute. I'll talk about colours so you can listen this while you're catching up as well. I've got a mid to darkish blue, not very dark blue. It's called Delft blue. And I've got a brown called Van Dyke brown, but you could have burnt umber, just a normal brown, you know, like you paint a tree trunk brown. And then I've got a really bright yellow, a lemon yellow. That's called cadmium lemon. And I've got a raw sienna, which is kind of a dirtyish yellow, but it's really useful in all landscape painting. Most artists have that colour in the palette, one of the basic colours to use. And it's the same with the blue and the brown, really. You know, this is why I chose these colours, because most artists will have these colours or something very similar in their palettes. The brushes, I've got one, they're all round. This one's about a size 6, and I've got one size 10. I've got quite a fine one, and then the one I always use, which is called a rigger. And then I've got a palette knife, and I'll show you why we need that in a little while, but you can manage without it, so don't worry about that. And the paper.
I can tell that those paintbrushes have seen a bit of action, Jane.
Oh, yeah. You know, I do so many things, use so many different texture making mediums and stuff. I don't buy really expensive paintbrushes because, you know, they get ruined, you know. But that one would be about £10 for that. And it's kind of middle of the road, and they're good. These SAA brushes, silver brushes, are really good. I use them all the time. The paper, there's different thicknesses of watercolour paper, and I always use the thickest. This is £300 Saunders Waterford paper with a knocked surface. That means it's not smooth and it's not rough, it's in between, slightly textured. So I'll move that away now then, and you might ask, you know, a bumblebee, we all think of a bumblebee as being black, but when you look at something, there's not many things, or especially creatures or nature, that's actually black. And it's much more interesting if you mix a colour that looks black, but then when you get it on the paper, this kind of two-toned and you see a little bit of other colour in it, especially with purpley colours or brown and blues. So if you mix blue and brown together, you get what looks like black. You know, it's not black, but it's the next best thing, but it's not so dense and horrible. So now, can you see that? Now in this little palette, I'm getting some of the blue paint and a little bit of the brown and making up what looks like a black. And the first thing we're going to paint is the eye. So we need to get that out of the way and let it dry. So using the fine brush, I always have to hold a tissue when I paint. I'm just painting in around that area that I've left drawn to keep white. So easy, just paint around. It's kind of a squashed circular shape. Right, and that's really dense and black. So I'm just I've cleaned my brush and I'm just going to lift a little bit off of that. And then the darkest yellow, the raw sienna, I'm just going to pop a little bit of that in there, and it'll just make the eye look that much more realistic. Okay, so make sure you've got plenty of this, we'll call it black paint mixed up because you need plenty. And you need it to the consistency of single cream, because we're putting water on first, and therefore it'll dilute the paint when we put it on. Now you might say, why are you wetting the paper? Well, the answer is you get a much nicer effect, and that paint will probably split into two colours, and it'll just give a little bit of variation and not make it look flat. And also, when you paint on wet paper, it gives a soft edge. So if I just wet the paper there and add some of the black, can you see how that's spanning out there, and it'll just leave a soft edge? Whereas if I didn't wet the paper like that, I've got a hard edge. Well, when you look at the bee, its hairs are all on end, all like a soft finish to it. So we don't want a hard edge, do we? We want one that's like fuzzy. So to get that, we need to wet where we're putting the paint. So what you've got to be careful of now is where I'm wetting, and what I will do is show you on this one first, and then you can get your head around it. I'm wetting all around the wing and the yellow stripes. So everywhere, even around the eye. But I'm not going to touch the eye. The paint we've already put on, I'm not touching that. I want to leave it dry. But I'm just wetting and down into the legs, those two main legs and that one there, ready to put the black paint on like that. I will do it on my proper one, but I just wanted you to see where I've left the yellow stripes, 3 yellow stripes, one at the tail, one just after where his back ends, and one in the neck area and where the wings are. So I've not, can you see 1, 2, 3? You need to keep those clear. So right, I'll get the proper one now. And with a clean brush and clean water, I'm wetting around the eye, but I'm leaving a real fine edge so I don't touch the eye, because I want to leave, you can see on this one, the one that I did, there's a little teeny weeny white edge that just separates the eye from the face. And that makes all the difference, just that tiny weeny touch of white, which will leave the paper as being that white. So now I'm wetting, like I did on the one I just showed you. Leaving my yellow stripes clear, just getting plenty of water on up to those lines, down into those legs, so I want the paint to run in there, and around the wings, you know, the bottom of the wings where they meet the body. And then straight into the black paint, and I'm kind of dotting it on rather than big sweeps, and because that makes an uneven line and makes it look more realistic. So can you see I'm painting, leaving a tiny bit of white around that eye. Okay, like that. So you have to work quite quickly, and I'm just blobbing it on, shall I say. There's some up there. It just gives a softer finish where the line meets where we're putting the yellow paint in a little while. Down the leg. And just the best way to do the legs is not really think about it, just be quite quick. And then down the one on the other side, but I'm making that slightly lighter so it looks more 3D. And then that yellowy colour again, you know, just put a touch of that here and there, just to break everything up. Rinse my brush, and then with the very fine brush, I think I'll leave those antennae at the front until I've finished, because I want to show you something else what I'm going to do now. Right, so you can see I've left irregular lines, and that's because, you know, we don't want a hard edge. But while the paint's still damp, I want to encourage some of that just to spill out a little bit by using a wet brush. Let it bleed out. Just where we've got the black, don't go over, don't make it go over there, because that's where the yellow will bleed out when we put that on. Just touch it gently and just let it smudge a little bit. You know, this is watercolour. Watercolour's all about using water and making your watercolour paints create unusual effects for you. Okay, so just something simple like that. Just adding a little bit more down that leg to keep it darker, and under the belly there. Okay, so now I'm mixing up some of the darker yellow paint, the raw sienna, to the same consistency, and also some of the lemon as well. Make sure you mix more than you think you'll need, because if you have to stop and remix, the other starts drying on your paper before you get back to it, and then you've lost it really. So now I'm wetting the yellow areas now. I'm starting with this big one just here. Can you see the blacks running in a little bit? I'll try and avoid that if I can. So try to avoid touching the black. And we can sort that out later where they meet. And I'm starting off with the dark yellow, the raw sienna. Putting that down there. And down there. And down there. And now I'm touching the black with the paint. Okay, so I'm rinsing the brush and drying it, and then straight into the lemon. So we've got to make those marry together now. So we need to do that with water. Just add some water and encourage that lemon to go down into the raw sienna.
Jane, hi. I've just got another question from Caroline.
Okay.
Actually. Caroline.
Hi. What happens if your watercolors, when they mix together, they start going like around and out and going everywhere and into the black when they shouldn't be?
You're best to just give them a dab like that with a tissue, kind of dry it, and then reapply some of the brightish yellow, and that should cover up any of the, little marks left by the black that you've dabbed away at, hopefully. So try that dabbing with a tissue.
Yeah, it works now.
Oh, excellent.
Brilliant. Well done, Caroline.
Yeah. And I've put that yellow on now, and I'm just going to do the same with that. Let it bleed out just a little bit. So, Caroline, not too much water. Just so it's nice and smudgy and not perfect. And while that's drying a little bit, I'm just sorting out the eye again, making sure that I don't leave too much white with the eye.
It's really taking shape now. You can really...
Yeah, it's coming, isn't it? It does help that on the legs like that, if you get some more of the dark paint, now we're drying, and paint around, it just looks like that's coming from this side of the insect rather than straight out from its tummy. Same with this one here. We've got the one at the back there. They do stand out differently. And if you haven't got that, you can lift out a little bit like that. And then just paint around it a bit. And that, can you see how that's changed, how the leg's coming out? And now I'll use the very fine brush for those other antennae.
Now, Jane, when would be a good time to have a half time?
Any time now, John.
Okay, should we do the antennae first, or do you want to do those afterwards?
No, we'll do the antennae first.
Okay.
Dead easy, just with your fine brush. You might have to turn your picture around like I have and just pull it towards you. And the same with the legs. Let's finish those off as well. You kind of got little joints. I'll just stab here and there with the antennae as well. So while I answer any questions or you ask any questions, I want this to dry, this area here to dry, and I want to combine those two. I want to marry those together. And I need to let that dry a little bit for us to do that, because if I wet it, like Caroline, who asked me, it will go kind of a muddy colour. So I'll answer any questions now if anyone's got any then.
Yes, if anybody wants to ask a question, just raise your hand and then we can. Right. So we've got Grace, first of all.
Hi, Grace.
Hello.
Hello.
I just wondered, where did you say you got your picture from?
Pixabay.
Pixabay.
Pixabay. Pixabay. Pixabay. It's a free site for downloading images of every subject. You just key in what you're interested in and they'll come up.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
It's
Grace.
looking excellent, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Thank you. And then we've got Caroline again.
Hi, Caroline.
Okay, what if your shape looks a bit like a hummingbird?
I don't think it will once we've got the wings painted. Do you think that'll alter? I think once we get the wings in, it'll take shape then. You wait and see. I bet you it will.
So it looks a bit like a hummingbird right now, except from the colours.
Okay. Have you got the peanut shape?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well, I think let's see what it's like when you get the wings in, which we'll do in a little while. So I'm looking at the eye still, and the white is standing out too much to me. So with we'll call it black again. Water it down so it's kind of that colour, and just gently go over it like that, just to tone it down a little bit. Okay, so that's dead easy. That's the next thing. And you could even, if you're feeling adventurous, just add a touch of the raw sienna in there. Okay, like that, and just keep a bit of the white. Just makes it look more real. So let's get on to the wings now, because we've not done anything with them, and I think Caroline's will come to life once she gets her wings painted in. So I'm just going to wet them again, like we've wet everything else before we've put paint on. Now, we don't want intricate wings, they do have lovely markings and all that, but this is a loose painting, so I'm wetting it and sweeping my brush away because I'm trying to give the impression that it's flying. So with quite a wishy-washy grey, just going to catch here and there, look, just up the top like that. That's it. And then with the raw sienna, just touch that here and there, so they don't stand out too much from the body. And then with the darker black that's not wishy-washy, shall we say, they just want to touch around the bottom to blend them into the body of the insect. And you could, if you want to do a few marks, you can. It's your painting, you do what you like. This is what I always say to everyone, if you feel like you wanted to do a few of the little marks they have on the wings, something like that, you can do, okay? But I'd keep them very simple. Simpler the better, you can get, when I first tried this, I did more detail and it just took over. So how do we make these tie into the fur so that it doesn't look like it's separate? The yellow looks separate to the black. Well, you need some more of the black mixing up. If you've run out, get a little bit more mixed up, which is what I'm doing at the moment. And then with the fine brush, this size brush, it's about number 2, you need to splay the brush open from the ferrule, press it and it'll open up, and just touch into the, don't wet it, just touch into the black paint, just like this. And then say from there, hold on. Here and there, just do some little feathery marks. We're going to do some yellowy marks as well in a little while. So, and also with this brush, all around the bee, where the black is, gently feathery marks. Bring them out from the body, fading off, just to give that feathery effect. I'll turn it round so you can see I'll do the head bit. You have to keep the brush splayed. You can get special brushes for this. I've got one here that they're called a hake, I think. You know, a rake. That's it. You can get hakes, but these are rakes. So I'll have a go with that just so you see the difference. And then if you want to buy one, you'll know what they're like. So takes some getting used to. It's not wet enough.
So Jane, am I right in believing that the end of that brush, it's got sort of okay, a bit like the hairdresser does when he's thinning out the hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was getting on actually better with the splayed out fine one, so I'll go back to that, and then we want that's a lot better. So don't bother with the brush. And the legs, they're all hairy as well, so you can go down the legs. And on his back. Just making that wing show up a little bit more. Must have been a little bit too wet when I did the pattern bit. Okay, so now we need to do the same with the bright yellow. So you need your paint quite thick to cover into the black, and this yellow I'm using is really opaque, cadmium lemon, and it's ideal for this. And then coming off the bottom and up there like that. Can you see that okay? This is called dry brush, by the way, dry brush technique, which speaks for itself, really. So I'm just working into those yellow areas and bringing the yellow out into the black, as well as taking the black into the yellow, if you get what I mean. And also with the darker yellow here and there, the raw sienna. Just mix some of that up. just finishing off there. It's coming. There's a lot more to it than you think, isn't there? You know, this little inset. Okay, now I'll show you the next bit, and if you don't have time to finish, at least you'll know what to do. But this is the best bit. This is the spattering bit. We want some pollen around him. So I've got a palette knife. That's for painting oil paints with or acrylics. But I'm using it for this. I'm turning it upside down and putting some yellow paint on the end of it, like that. And if you turn it back, it doesn't drip off, look, it doesn't fall off. But then I'm putting my thumb on it, and then I'm pulling this finger back like that, and you'll get some spattering. Can you see that? Hardly, can you? People who come to me regularly will know I always do this. So just keep spattering around. It really loosens up a painting. Just gives it movement. If you
didn't have one of those, could you use a plastic ruler or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, or a toothbrush. Put some on the bristles, but you've got less control with a toothbrush. It goes everywhere, but a lot of people use a toothbrush. So I'm putting some spatters as well, where the yellow, you know, not just where I want to suggest some pollen, but where the fur is.
Jane, I've just got a couple of other hands up. So first of all, Betty.
Yeah, hi, Betty.
Betty, you're...
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Betty, how are you?
All right, thank you. My computer went off halfway through.
Oh, dear.
But I think I've done it. What are you splattering with, sorry? All the colours or just the yellow?
Just the yellows.
Yellow.
Yeah, I'm starting with the lemon and then the darker yellow, you know.
Yeah, we love splattering. Just say hello to Newcroft. I think they're all signed in today.
Oh, what school is it again?
Newcroft.
Newcroft.
Yeah, at Shepshed.
At Shepshed, of course it is. Yeah, hello everyone at Newcroft School, those that are in. I think you're all painting this, aren't you? I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah. They are. Thank you, Jane.
Okay, Betty, thank you. So
we've just got Alison as well. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hi, Alison.
You're on mute, Alison.
If you don't have one of the things which you're using, could you use a paintbrush to spatter?
Yes, anything that's bendy you can use. It'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm looking at mine now and I'm thinking, yeah, it's fine, but I just can't see the wing very well there. So I think I'm just going to, I mean, yours will be different. You know, all of ours will be different. So I'm just going to make that a little bit more noticeable. So it stands out a little bit more and then wash back with it. And where that one comes from behind, there'll be a little bit of shadow like that, and then wash away. And I think I've about finished. I don't know about everyone else, how you're all getting on.